Thank you so much for coming. You are the CEO of Biz Growth Inc., and you do so many things. Thank you so much for being my co-host. And let me just apologize in advance because I'm sure I will not be able to live up to the expectations that you have. But since you've known me for years, you already know that, don't you?
Oh, come on, Joe. You always raise the bar. So
Sherre,
I'm ready.
Tell us your story. Tell us, because I know you as a writer. Mm-hmm. I know you as an author. Mm-hmm. I've read many of your articles over the years in different local and national papers. Mm-hmm. I know you as somebody that literally can pack a room. You've done it for me several times. Mm-hmm. So you've just got this well-rounded skill set. My company factotum, Julie, should thank her for your job, because it was you that helped advise me restructure my company and make sure that I'm pleasing the small business owners and defining their expectations correctly. So, exactly. So I hold you on a pedestal that I hold very few small business people on. So talk a little bit about the journey of how you've received all this business knowledge.
Absolutely. I guess the way I would describe it is I've been through every level of ownership. I literally started my company right out of college, and that was the Institute of Art and Design. And so I started as a graphic designer that just so happened to know how to write. Now, because I fell in love with my daughter's father, who took me to Owensboro, Kentucky, there were no big ad agencies to work with there. So I started freelancing.
You really had to be in love to go to Kentucky.
You are not kidding. Right across the river from Paducah. That's all I got to say, right? And so I started out as a freelancer and just naturally worked with small business. And this was in 1984. And at that point in time, I realized that I needed to go back to school. I had no clue how to run a business. I had no clue how to market. But what was interesting is these small business owners just assumed because I could write, because I could design, I knew all this stuff about marketing. But I was honest and very transparent and said, no, I'm back to school. I've gone back to school for that. But the big aha, because I went back to school in '86, the big aha was that these business owners were too busy in their business. They didn't have time to try to work on the business, which of course we know is a big problem, right? And they literally wanted me to share what I was learning. And I did. So then at that point in time, I knew what my mission was, which we know mission is very important to a successful company. And I knew my mission was to create better business owners. I knew that's what my mission was. So from there, my business just to continue to evolve. So it went from being a graphic design and writing company to being a full-service marketing company and consultancy by 1990. And then in the 90s, with the whole PC craze that happened, I expanded my base of knowledge in that regard and continued to see that even though I was focused on marketing, I would constantly see operational issues that were impacting the effectiveness of marketing. So over that next 10 or 15 years, I evolved into focusing as much on operations as marketing and seeing that that the big problem that a lot of businesses have is they don't integrate those two effectively. They operate on a daily basis, but they don't understand that they need to market on a daily basis.
Let's dig into that for a minute, because this is something you actually taught me, and it was frustrating.
Yeah.
That's how I learned, by being beat on the back of the head. You know that about me, right? And so I had hired you and your organization to help me figure out a way to brand my company.
Right.
And you did a detailed review and a detailed analysis of the business. And when we first sat down to talk about it, you wanted to tell me what I was doing wrong. And I was like, Sherre, that's not why I brought you here, right? I don't need you to tell me how to be a better business broker. And you said, well, maybe you do. Because here's 4 areas that your clients are disappointed in.
Right.
Here's some areas that you are defining the expectation one way, but the client is expecting something different.
Right.
And for you were looking at it from this view that I cannot help you market until you are solving these problems. So that's why I say Julie got a job, because I started looking for somebody to help fill the voids of things I could not do. And now we've got processes in place. We've got, when somebody fills out an NDA, we now let them know, hey, by the way, somebody has filled out an NDA for your business. And we were never doing that before.
Right.
I don't think there's any business brokers that are doing that. And it's because you took the time to break out these different challenges before we even talked about how to market the business. So it really is an important fact that small business people need to understand. You've got to make sure what it is you're going to market is marketable.
Right. Well, and the operations is the foundation of the business. And if you're not operating effectively, then you're not marketing. You're not going to be able to market effectively.
Right. And that's what you're looking for. You're looking for these distinguishing marks. And you're saying, Joe, if you'll just make these few changes, I can now market something that you have that absolutely has substantial value.
Well, and I think, one of the things...
It was genius, I tell you. Genius.
Well, thank you. What was exciting for me is that I've gone from being that freelancer to that subcontractor to that business owner to that entrepreneur to the shareholder. And so, what is important for businesses to understand, if you really want something you can sell, and of course, Joe, you know so well, and that's become my passion, is there's a lot of business owners that think they have something to sell and they don't.
Yes.
And that is really what my focus is now, is value building. Building, economic vitality, I like to say, but it's also entrepreneurial prosperity.
But what you did for me, which was so surprising, was you sort of broke my system apart into pieces and then told me how to put the pieces back together. So there's systems in place. And small business people get scared to death when they hear system. Right. But a system may just be one piece of paper, one concept, right?
Exactly.
And so you take this complex thought and you break it down to one simplistic thing. Joe, you need to let the client know that somebody was interested, right?
Right.
And then together we can come up with how.
Communication is such a powerful thing.
Right. Us small business people would really prefer not to do that. If we could not deal with clients, we would really like that, right? You understand that?
Oh, I don't know. I don't agree with you. I love clients. Clients hopefully love me.
So talk about this, because your business life has been like, you have reinvented yourself many times, right? And you keep adding to
I'm
what
the
you've
Madonna
done.
of the business world.
I would believe that, yes. So talk about how you do that, how you take one skill and then add it to the next skill that you've learned, because there's a lot of small business people out there that have to do that.
I have to go back to mission. Because I knew in 1986 that my mission was to create better business owners, better strategists, better operators. Everything I did, and most people don't understand what a mission is. And so a lot of companies have a mission that's just a glorified capability statement, so they're limiting them with what they are capable of doing then. But if you have a powerful mission, then what happens is you are constantly trying to feed that mission, and you're constantly trying to, okay, what else can I do to fulfill this mission? And if you don't know how to do it, you find out how to do it, or you bring people in to help you know how to do it. But the mission is really key, in my opinion.